by land or by air. They're showing up for the City Showdown in the final night of regular season football right here on Game Time. Hi, everybody. Along with John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. We are in Council Bluffs for the annual City Showdown. It's the last time for both of these teams and their seniors to play on Friday Night Lights. And I guess the old cliche, John, you throw out the records. Both these teams are struggling this year, but as we know, we do this game every year. Wild things happen when TJ and Abraham Lincoln get together.
It's our bingo card game every year. Onside kickoffs, fumbles returned for touchdowns, interceptions and fumbled and returned for touchdowns. Anything can happen in this one.
Thomas Jefferson is 2-6. Abraham Lincoln is 1-7. With TJ, it's a guy we've been talking about for now 4 years. And what a night he could have. Nearly 5,000 yards rushing with another big night, Cameron Baker.
Yeah, Cameron Baker is just a tremendous athlete. He's going to get the ball on offense, and he's going to be around the ball on defense. He is the key player, no doubt, for TJ. He's the guy you got to stop.
For the Lynx, they've had a rough season, but they're coming off their first win of the year last week against North, and they did it with a talented two-way player.
Yeah, Dayton Hires moved from linebacker to nose guard about midway through the season and has really made a difference for that defense. And last week got involved in the offense, 28 carries for 180 yards in their first win of the season over Des Moines North.
AL, TJ, Game Time in Council Bluffs. Kickoffs coming up next.
Game Time high school football action on YurView is presented by Iowa Western, the world is waiting, and by Cox Business Security. Join us all fall long for some of the top high school football from around the country on Game Time. For in-depth interviews, behind-the-scenes coverage, recruiting updates, and more, be sure to visit YurView.com, your home for high school football.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to take classes I need, spend less time working to pay for them. I want flexibility to transfer my credits. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Final night of the regular season in Iowa and Nebraska. We're in Council Bluffs for the annual showdown. Council Bluffs, Thomas Jefferson. Council Bluffs, Abraham Lincoln. And the Lynx make their way onto the field. 1-7. TJ is 2-6 last year. And we get the opportunity to do this game every year, and we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of emotion on both sidelines in this game, and as John was alluding to in the open, a lot of strange things happen when these two teams get together. But last year, when TJ beat AL, that was the first time in 11 meetings that the Jackets had come out on top.
Yeah, and they did it in pretty convincing fashion, too. Ran for over 450 yards on the game. Cameron Lukavsky, who you're going to see play quarterback for the Jackets tonight, had 3 picks in that one. And they ended that schneid against the crosstown rival in a big way last season.
Now, these two public high schools here in Council Bluffs are part of the largest class in the state of Iowa, which is Class 4A. Neither team is going on to the postseason, but for 364 days, you get bragging rights if you win this game. And TJ would love to make it back-to-back victories in this contest. Again, TJ is 2-6. One of their wins is probably one of the only games in the state of Iowa that was talking about nationally. We will get more into it later on in the broadcast, but they beat Sioux City North back in the first month of the season, 99-81. Yes, you heard correctly. TJ won a game this year, 99-81. AL coming off their first victory. They beat Des Moines North 30-16. Both of these teams have a victory over Des Moines North. So we are set to go. As you can look at the AL Lynx. And TJ set to go. Beautiful night for football. Had snow here last weekend, but now temperatures in the mid-50s with a light breeze as we get set to play football on the final Friday of the season here at Gail Wickersham Stadium. Absolutely stunning facility and a great opportunity for both of these teams to play on this fine field.
Yeah, it should be a fun one, Gary. Both teams really looking to close out the season on a win. Good chance to do it here tonight. Here are the keys for the visiting Yellow Jackets of Thomas Jefferson. And I think the big thing for them tonight, the biggest key is going to be obviously getting the ball into the hands of Cameron Baker. They know he's the big play threat, and he's the one who can light up the scoreboard all on his own.
And the game starts with an onside kick. It was not recovered as Derek Russell was the up man standing right at midfield. He took quite a hit. And the ball ricocheted off of his body out of bounds. So AL, they will start this game with the ball at the 49-yard line of TJ. And here's how this rivalry starts in 2018.
Onside kick. We told you it was going to be weird. Didn't know it was going to start from the opening kick. But there it is.
A couple of years ago, we had one of the more stranger games that you and I have ever seen. And right away, Dayton Hires with the carry. Lennox Brown is the sophomore quarterback, so you can look at Hires. John talked about him in the open. You'll see a lot of players on both sides go both ways. These rosters are not very deep, and when you reach week 9 and you have injuries that have piled up, you have a lot of guys playing a lot of football. Lennox Brown is somebody who John Wolf, the young head coach of AL, is very optimistic about. He is only a sophomore. 6'2", 165. Hires got a couple of yards in the first carry. And on the second carry, he's going to end up about a yard short of the first down. So it'll be 3rd down and 1 for the Lynx.
And I think the offensive key in this game for the Lynx is just what you've seen on 1st and 2nd down. They're going to have to keep the ball on the ground and grind out yards. They have thrown the ball with very little effect this season. If they're going to win, the ball needs to be in the hands of number 3.
Last week against Des Moines North was their season high for points. That was 30. 3rd down and 1, a bunch set, and Hires for the 3rd straight carry. 3 carries, and he gets himself a first down with a pickup of 2 as this drive began, as the game began with an onside kick. Covered at midfield by the Lynx, who are the designated home team here tonight.
Well, I think that onside kick is a big favor to AL, Gary, because you're looking at a team that struggled offensively for large portions of the season, and you've given them a short field to work with on their first possession. And they're just going to try and grind it out and get down the field and put points on the board.
You saw momentarily Brant Anderson, the head coach of TJ. Hires not much going here. He's tried to run right into the heart of that defense for TJ. He was slowed up by Jason Salazar and also Danny Mills. Brant Anderson, head coach now in his 4th year. Before he taking over the head job, he was the offensive line coach. He's finally got his program where he feels very confident, feels like everybody's fully invested, not just during the fall, but during the winter in the weight room, in the spring, and then in the summer when they camp all over the state of Iowa. So 2nd down and 8 for the Lynx. The opening drive of the final 9 of the regular season. Brown under pressure, just throws it up, and it is caught for a first down. Ben Fitcher. Brown threw a 50-50 ball kind of into no man's land, and Fitcher bailed him out. It's a first down for the Lynx.
Yeah, I don't even think Victor was the guy he was targeting on this pass, but he just shows up out of nowhere. There's pressure in his face, and Brown just heaves it up. And Victor says, look what I found.
Brown coming into tonight, 7 of 14. No touchdowns, an interception, 90 yards. This is an offense that doesn't throw the ball very often. They'll keep it on the ground, and they've done that on this drive with Hires. as he pounds into the heart of that Yellow Jacket defensive line for a yard. AL again 1-7. Both of these teams have defeated Des Moines North. They're in the same district. They both have gone 1-3 in their district, which features Class 4A's #1 team in the state of Iowa, West Des Moines Valley. We'll take a look at the largest class in Iowa, the top 10, here in just a moment. Opening drive of the game. Brown keeps it on the ground with an inside handoff to Hires. Hires follows his blockers down to the 21-yard line. That's a pickup of 4, and it'll be 3rd down and short.
It's a good carry from Hires again. He's getting the ball early and often here. And just a hard run. If you can get 4 yards a crack and just keep at it, keep pounding, eventually those 4-yard runs are going to turn into 6-yard runs, and those 6-yard runs are going to turn into 10-yard runs.
ALTJ Game Day 2K18. A lot of enthusiasm in the city today for the buildup of this game. Brown calls his own number, scrambling, he's got a 1st down. Boy, he's a little lanky and a little bit unorthodox as he's growing into that big frame, but he was able to sidestep a couple of tacklers, and he's got a big 3rd down carry that gives the Lynx a 1st down.
Well, that's a blitz from the linebacker, and Baker gets caught inside. Lennox Brown gets upfield before Baker can track him down. Good run by the youngster.
You're going to hear Cameron Baker's name a lot. We highlight what he could do tonight, possibly running for 5,000 career rushing yards, but he has been a mainstay on this defense. You see him right there in your picture. Started as a freshman. Hires again with another carry. As this drive is eating up the clock, it began at the TJ 49-yard line. If you're just tuning in, an onside kick to begin the city showdown. Now AL has driven all the way down to the 12-yard line as this drive is eaten up nearly the first 5 minutes of the contest. AL 1-7, TJ is 2-6, but AL all about a process. If you talk to their head coach John Wolf, it was refreshing. They jumped out to a 23-0 lead against North last week, Des Moines North, and won 30-16. Now it is 2nd down and 10. Brown will put it up the 2nd time. Victor makes the catch, heads towards the goal line and gets inside of the 10-yard line, and that'll set up 3rd down and short. The Lynx can't get a 1st down without scoring. But now we're in the red zone, and this is where things, according to their head coach, have gotten interesting this year.
Yeah, they've had some real trouble hanging onto the ball once they get deep into that red zone, and it has really cost them a lot of points on the season.
This is an offense that in 8 games has only scored 73 points. But how about this sophomore quarterback, Lennox Brown? He's looking at a blitz. TJ rushes 6, hand up, Hires up the middle, touchdown.
And takes it into the end zone for a Lynx touchdown.
That's what can happen when you blitz against the run. If you don't get home, when your blitzers get blocked, you leave a big gap at that 2nd level. There was nobody home to stop Hires on the 10-yard touchdown.
49-yard drive. Dayton Hires did a lot of it, but a great play call. They knew that blitz was coming, especially to the left of the quarterback, left the middle of the field wide open. Snap back, the kick is up, and the kick is good. And it is 7-0 in favor of AL. 49-yard scoring drive. Here is how it is culminating.
Well, the blitz just came to the wrong side, and it was good blocking on the play side. And the linebacker had blitzed to the other A gap. The middle linebacker Cameron Baker, and there was nobody back there to stop Hires on his way in.
So AL in the city showdown, they strike first. On the Hires score, he had a big week last week in their win, and you can see tonight that they are going to rely on the senior who is among the many on both sides playing for the final time on Friday Night Lights. Game time here on YurView, final night of the regular season. Then both Iowa and Nebraska off to the playoffs. We'll be off to the playoffs next week with you back in Nebraska. John Wolf, young head coach for AL. How young? Well, he was 26 when he got the job. This is his 5th year. He is an alum of AL, so a little bit more meaning for him to get this program turned around. Both of these coaches, of course, not happy with their season, but they feel encouraged about the future. Here's the short kickoff, and it is returnable for TJ. Cameron Lukowski all the way out across the 25, so he's to the 26. He had a big game last year in this contest. He had 3 interceptions and engineered the Yellow Jacket offense. And this is an offense that, for everybody that's been with us all season long, you do not see this offense anywhere else, John.
No, and you'd be hard pressed to find it anywhere else in the country, probably. It's old. You know, it's the kind of offense they played in the 40s. It's the double wing offense. There's a lot of misdirection and a lot of running the football.
A lot of running the football from Cameron Baker. You can see in the setup as they flip it to Baker following the left tackle, and he's not going anywhere, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. You can see the back that is directly behind the quarterback. Basically, when they get in the 3 technique, their helmet is almost on the hip pad of the quarterback. And this is the double wing.
There you get a look. The fullback, as Gary said, his face mask is almost on the quarterback's backside.
Cameron Baker, 168 carries out of the double wing this year. No gain on his first carry. He's had 4,832 career yards. And AL, the defense stiffens up. It's going to be 3rd down and long, as coming over to make the defensive play, Trey Sorensen. Now, with the double wing, you don't want to be in this situation where you're 3rd down and long.
No, but the times that TJ has put the ball up this season and they've made a completion, it's been up for more than 15 yards. And that wide receiver at the bottom of your screen, Karan Owens, is averaging over 30 yards a carry.
Instead, they'll flip it to Baker, and Baker's going to come up short. What a start for AL. Ben Price, who this defense has had its down moments this year for AL, but Ben Price has been solid all year long. And look at this. He makes an unassisted tackle, hauling down Cameron Baker. In 3 and out go TJ. So a good start for AL, coming off their first victory of the year. They score on the opening drive, and now they're going to get the football back. Fitcher and Ellis are back to receive the punt from Lukowski. High end over end, catching it at the 35, eluding 1 tackler. He's able to get a few yards. As Fichter will be credited with a 4-yard return before he was brought down by Warren Owens. And here's the second possession for AL's offense.
John Wolf's got to be real happy. It's a dream start for his bunch. You go up 7-0 on your opening offensive possession and you force a 3 and out. That is 100% efficiency.
7-0, 4:47 to go here in the first half, first quarter. The Lynx and the Yellow Jackets. This drive will start on the 42 after the onside kick to begin the game. It started on the 49, and we'll take a quick break here. 7-0. AL leads TJ. It's game time on YurView.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
Here's to the do-gooders. They're the early risers, the selfless, the forward thinkers, the brave. There are many ways to describe them. We call them family. CHI Health. Good happens here.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
3-0. AL leads TJ. This week on YurView's high school football recruiting podcast, Over the Middle, ESPN's Tom Van Haren joins Jeremy Crabtree to discuss the impact the NCAA new transfer and redshirt rules have had on college football on the recruiting trail. We've already seen national level teams like Clemson and Oklahoma State impacted by these changes, but they won't last. Jeremy also breaks down the Ford fan pick battle between Carl Albert and Guthrie on YurView Oklahoma, and he makes his call on which five-star quarterback he wants leading his program. All that and more on this week's episode of Over the Middle podcast. You can check it out right now, or how about after this game is over on YurView.com. You can also find out a lot of information, including a really in-depth story that John did earlier in the week with Cameron Baker. The carry by Hires goes for maybe a yard. Baker was able to find his way in there. Jared Masick as well.
On that first possession, Gary, the TJ defense, the two biggest plays on that drive were plays where they got caught in a blitz. And it was the run by the quarterback, Lennox Brown, and then the touchdown, obviously, by Hires.
Defense that has now got him 345 points, and Hires is hit from behind the line of scrimmage. Took a big hit. Jermaine Green, who is only a junior, but is very active on both sides of the ball. Look at this. He knew this play was coming right away, blew up the blocker, and made the tackle.
Yeah, it's another blitz, and Jermaine Green's a good-looking player. All the stories are about Cameron Baker for TJ, but he's one to watch. He's the fullback on offense. He's one of those three linebackers in there on the defensive side. Good-looking young player.
That was a loss of 4, so now the sophomore quarterback, Brown, Lennox Brown. See both teams. It's a breast cancer awareness night here, so pink socks, pink tape. Brown on third down throws it out of the backfield. Victor is upended, lost the football, and it is. Now they're going to say he was down on the big hit. It is well short of the first down. Well, now they're going to. There is no replay here in Iowa either. There is a discussion. Let's see here if the ball came out. No, it looks like he was down. So Victor was down before it was recovered by TJ. But what TJ does here is they force a 3-and-out and a punt.
Well, that's exactly what was needed from Brant Anderson's punt. Oh, and that ball was out, Gary. From that reverse angle, it looked like Emilio Rubio punched it out of there before Victor hit the ground.
Great look by our field camera. And there is a flag before the snap. Let's do the math here. Could be 12 on the field. Greg Easterly, our referee tonight. Legal substitution on TJ. It'll cost him 5 yards. And here is, this ball was out. It's a break for AL John.
See Victor come up and watch Rubio. The punch right there. That ball's out.
Great look by our camera crew here on Game Time. Final night of the regular season. The 9 weeks have gone quickly. We'll get you the playoffs the next 2 weeks. And in Nebraska, there's a lot of maneuvering going on tonight in terms of the points. The brackets on both sides of the river will be announced tomorrow. The Missouri River separates Iowa and Nebraska. AL is going to go for it, or they're going to try and draw TJ offside. It's 4th down and 5. Brown in the gun. With Hires in the sidecar. And now a timeout is taken by John Wolf. He sent his sophomore quarterback out there to try and draw TJ offside. They did not. You can kind of read his lips. Good job. And now, I would imagine maybe in this scenario, AL will punt the football away. 2:40 to go in the first quarter. 7-0 in favor of the Lynx on a 10-yard touchdown run by Dayton Hires on the opening drive of the game. Look at the TJ sideline. John Wolf, 4-sport athlete at AL. He was an assistant for 4 years at Adair Casey, which is in western Iowa, before coming back to his alma mater. He is not only the head coach, but he is also the offensive coordinator.
And when you're that young and you've got that much energy, why not?
And again, he's an alum, and one of his major goals is to get his program to the postseason and to get a playoff victory. AL has never won a playoff game in the history of the school.
It's kind of amazing to say, isn't it, that a school in a city the size of Council Bluffs, in the context of Iowa, has never won a playoff game.
Alex Stodgill to punt it away off the side of his foot. Owens with a lot of green in front of him and blockers. And then he is bottled up by Price. Ben Price hauls him down. Now we'll get a second look at the offense for TJ out of the double wing. In an offense that has only attempted 57 passes. As we mentioned, Cameron Baker, number 25 in your picture, 4,832 career rushing yards. This is his final game in high school. 48 touchdowns. So we've got Frank Ryan, our statistician, on Baker Watch. Going to keep us updated as Cameron, who we've gotten to know. And again, John, really good story on YurView.com. We'll see if he can get to 5K. That play was going nowhere, but it's going to end up being on the good side of the ledger for a +2 on the carry by Emilio Rubio.
And Rubio's the second leading rusher on this team. He plays that other wing position opposite Cameron Baker. And as this defense certainly keys on Baker tonight, it might be Rubio and the quarterback Lukavsky who are able to find some running room in those voids vacated by the defense as they focus in on the big number 25.
Rubio was all district as a sophomore last year. Nearing the end of the first quarter, and here is Cameron Baker. And there goes Cameron Baker across the 40. That big frame leans forward to the 42, and that might be enough for a first down. Cameron Baker, he had in that 99-81 victory over Sioux City North, he had 357 yards rushing. He had 8 touchdowns in a game in which his team rushed for 748 yards.
Unreal.
And you're going to see some highlights from that game, and we will talk about that game a little bit later. I remember getting tweets when we were doing our game that this was going on, and you're like, nah, somebody made a mistake. Lukavsky, the quarterback, keeps it, and he'll keep it all the way to the end zone. 58-yard touchdown run, and we're a PAT away from a tied ball game.
How about Cameron Lukavsky? Had 107 yards rushing a year ago in this game. We were here for it. He just ripped off 58 right there.
5th rushing touchdown of the year. Right down the middle of the field goes the senior quarterback. And the PAT, Ty Harold, out to try and knot this at 7. When it works, it's a big play offense. And we're tied at 7.
Little shotgun look, zone read action. And the end completely dives down. Inside linebacker goes with the dive action. Also, safety vacates the middle of the field, and Lukavsky untouched to the end zone.
He had 103 yards rushing and 3 interceptions last year. He was part of a team that beat AL for the first time in 11 tries. First time since 2008. Beat him 33-8. Now we are tied at 7.
Lukavsky's made the switch to quarterback this season. He played that opposite wing from Baker last year. Had a senior quarterback graduate a year ago, and Cameron Lukavsky's taken the reins this season.
Brant Anderson, the head coach of the L-Jacks, says, let's run that play again. Pointed at the iPad on the sidelines.
Let's do the one where we scored the touchdown.
Usually this game is played week 2. A short little kickoff. And again, good field position. It'll be the 3rd offensive possession for AL. Usually it's week number 2. This year, with the new district alignment that both of these schools are in the state of Iowa, it got pushed to the final week of the regular season, which I kind of like.
Yeah, it's a little different. Weather's a little cooler out over here for us.
Yeah, we've been here before where it's been in the 90s. I mean, we've been here for games where our cameramen have like taken off their shirts because it's so warm. Thankfully, we're asked back.
Thankfully.
They'll start at the 41. So the previous 2 times, AL started at the TJ 49. That resulted in a touchdown from Dayton Hires. They started at the 42, and then they were 3 and out. And this carry, not much, by Sean Lorenzen, former quarterback, tackled by Cameron Baker. Baker's got 43 tackles now in the season. We wax poetic about Cameron Baker, but John will be the first to tell you after talking with Cameron, he is nowhere near 100%. He had labrum shoulder surgery around Thanksgiving last year. He's out there for every single play. His body feels it on Saturday mornings. Here's Brown dancing into the secondary. Pick up about 6 here in the final minute of the first quarter. And it'll be 3rd down and short.
Just got to mix it up a little bit now for AL. They had good success on the inside run game on their first possession. Second possession, not so much. TJ has kind of figured that out. So trying to switch some things up, maybe go with the quarterback run. Look for him to throw something here. They've had some luck getting it out into the flat and finding Victor.
They don't need to snap it, but they do on the final play of the first quarter. Brown under pressure. Heaves it downfield. It's enough for a first down. Damari Brown holds in the 3rd down completion. And that's how the first quarter will come to an end. It's the City Showdown. We're knotted at 7. AL and TJ. It's game time on YurView from Gail Wickersham Stadium in Council Bluffs.
Transform your existing space today with a new remodel from DeLoa & Sons. No matter what your budget is, our in-house design team will bring your vision to life, providing the quality craftsmanship you expect. And you work directly with the owner during all phases of your project, remodeling residential and commercial spaces for over 20 years. DeLoa & Sons. Design, build, remodel. Start your new project today. Call or learn more at DeLoaConstruction.com.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
Now at H&H, Factory Direct Clearance Pre-Owned. As a new car dealer, we get access to Factory Direct used vehicles before the public. And we just got a shipment at all 3 locations. Visit hhautomotive.com and click Factory Direct to see them all. Deals like this 2017 Camry, only $16,000. We're passing the savings on to you at all 3 H&H locations. Or shop online, hhautomotive.com.
1 quarter in the books, 7-7. Shaping up to be another interesting City Showdown between AL and TJ there in Council Bluffs. Are you looking for a new career? Explore our programs in business, health, and technology. Get going today on your career path by visiting iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. We will talk to Iowa Western head football coach Scott Strohmeyer. His Reavers, number 3 in the country, have the weekend off, and he has decided to join us here at Gail Wickersham Stadium, this absolutely gorgeous facility that houses football, soccer, track, baseball, softball. Not very old, about 4 years old. What a great place for all of the young athletes in this fine community. As we begin the second quarter with a run, Sean Lorenzen, who in this game last year was the quarterback for AL, carries for a couple of yards.
We saw some Lennox Brown a little bit in that game last year too. Just a freshman, but got in a few snaps obviously see that Ailes hopeful for the future with this young man.
Got a quick look at the facility here. Lorenzen on the high snap and the handoff. Good job by Brown to bring it down. That'll set up the 3rd down and short. This facility named after Gale, who gave a gift to the Council Bluffs School District. Went to AL at Gale Wickersham. Now lives in Omaha. He owns Wicks Trucks of Omaha. They have a proud heritage in this community, and especially for this game. There's a lot of alums. They were out in the parking lot tailgating before the game on both sides. This is the one day all year that they don't get along. Plus we also see a lot of the youth football players here in Council Bluffs are in attendance. 7-7 just away in the 2nd quarter on game time. There's John Schreiner. I'm Gary Sharp. Lennox Brown says, I'm going to throw the football. And he completes it again on 3rd down. Brown caught it, got a foot down, and they'll move the chains up to the 32-yard line. That's a pickup of 12, and Lennox Brown good on 3rd down conversions, John.
What can Brown do for you? Lennox Brown to Damari Brown, and sophomore to sophomore. Right there, another good catch, another good pickup. And suddenly this AL offense is back in business.
Have you been sitting on that since week 2 of last year?
Maybe since this morning.
The drive continues. Mark the ball at the 32. Here's Hires, and he is going nowhere. Great penetration by that defensive line of TJ. Jason Salazar. Also Cameron Hosty in to make the tackle.
Those 3 linebackers for TJ are pretty good. I know that they have struggled at times this season. The record would tell you as much, but Baker, Hasty, and Green, those 3 pretty good athletes back there at linebacker.
Grant Anderson told us before the game last week they lost to Urbandale 24-10, and it was a lot of self-destruction. Brown chased out of the pocket like a gazelle, spinning inside of the 30. That's a pickup of about 5, and it'll be another 3rd down and short, as the sophomore quarterback, who's 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions, might be asked to throw it again as we get a look at this pickup.
A good decision making from the youngster. Pulls it down, and then just a nifty spin move, like what we're seeing out of young Mr. Lennox Brown tonight.
3rd down and 4. Both these teams also have a penchant to go for it on 4th down as Brown looks over the defense. It's a 4-man front for the Yellow Jackets out of the backfield. Brown pump fake. He got hit as he threw it, and it's caught, and it's going to be a touchdown. Victor caught it as Brown took a hit, and another 3rd down conversion, this time for a touchdown from 26 yards out. The flag that is down is back in the secondary. Greg Easterling, our referee. Nope. There is no flag on the play. And AL strikes quickly. Lennox Brown, the sophomore quarterback, on another blitz. He absorbed the hit, and Victor was wide open and sprinted into the end zone. And the PAT is good, and AL is back on top, 14-7. And John, let's get a look at that touchdown pass from the sophomore.
Well, first things first, great poise in the pocket, knows he's going to take a lick, still gets the ball out wide open. Victor on the back end waltzes into the end zone. I just cannot get over Lennox Brown's ability to throw this ball knowing he's going to take a shot. He's only a sophomore, Gary Sharp.
Yeah. I think Seneca Calhoun, who was on the blitz for TJ, I think after he hit Brown and he got up, he thought, oh, 3rd down stop. Looked down, and AL was celebrating the end zone. Again, AL 1-7 on the year, TJ 2-6. AL won their first game of the year last week. And And on the other sideline, as you see TJ come out for the kickoff, I think they have to be a little bit surprised, because this has not been an offense that has put up a lot of crooked numbers. They've got 2 scores, 2 minutes and 58 seconds into the second quarter. This is for bragging rights. Oh yeah, imagine if you're a bagger at the grocery store and you're an AL grad or an AL student and you got a TJ student. Whoever wins this game gets the better shift, maybe. See a lot of alums that have stayed here in town attending Iowa Western. The kickoff is into the end zone. Now it is TJ's opportunity on offense to respond. 14-7, 9:02 to go in the first half. Again, Scott Strohmeyer, head football coach at Iowa Western, is going to join us at halftime. The Netflix special, Last Chance U, following Independence Community College, was in Council Bluffs last weekend for Iowa Western and Independence, a game that Iowa Western won. They're now 6-1. We'll let Stroh tell you all about that appearance. It's coming up at halftime. Ben Price stopping Green for a loss of 1.
There just hasn't been a lot of room to run out of the double wing formation for TJ tonight. They've had more success when they went to that shotgun look. They've gone back to the double wing here to open this possession, but I would expect that they're going to have to get into that shotgun again, and here it is.
Look at the splits. They're awful tight. We get a look from that end zone camera. Now in the gun. Baker just trying to follow his blockers. It was a slow developing play. Now it's going to be 3rd down and long. Again, this offense doesn't put it up very much.
Yeah, look at that. It's foot to foot in there on the offensive line. Just trying to put that defense in a phone booth. Create lots of traffic to run through and allow Baker to pick his way. But a good job by Price again, fighting through that traffic to make a tackle.
The option. The pitch to Baker. Baker's got a blocker. Baker's down the sidelines. Oh, not the touchdown maker yet. But those yards are racking up because that is 19 on 3rd down. And you can see he was very patient, kind of tiptoeing down the boundary, reading his keys. And the next thing you know, that's a 19-yard gain. It didn't feel like it.
Yeah, it's a good patient option play by Lukavsky in the backfield. And one guy normally doesn't bring Baker down. You've got to bring multiple hats to the ball when it's in his hands.
Cameron Baker playing in his last game in high school. What a career he has had at TJ. Will go down as one of the best at school on the western edge of Council Bluffs. And here he is again. He just bowls his way across midfield for nearly 10 on a 1st down carry. Again, we are keeping the Baker watch. 4,832 career rushing yards, 48 scores coming in. And here's another 10 on that total.
That's like a quadruple lead. Quarterback tosses it to Baker, and then gets up. You got fullback, guard, and wingback all leading him through the hole.
2nd down and 1. ALTJ Lynx with a touchdown lead. The Jackets are driving. Baker's got enough for a 1st down.
And bad news right here because Cameron Baker is limping back to the huddle.
He's had a plethora of injuries really throughout his career. That's what makes it. And he's closing in on 5,000 rushing yards, even more amazing. He is very few times he's missed a practice. Of course, not a game. His body takes a lot of blows. Remember, he's a 2-way player, the top 2-way player. Number 9 player in the state of Iowa. Lukavsky scrambling, trying to find some room, and now dances out of trouble, and he's going to have positive yardage and enough for a 1st down. The senior wanted to throw it deep down the field, but a good coverage package by AL. And he's had to tuck it under and run from left to right to left, and now a 1st down at the 37.
We've seen both these quarterbacks make really nice decisions in the pocket tonight. Lukavsky looking, nothing there. And then just uses that elusive ability that he has from his days playing running back. Picked up the first down. Drive keeps rolling.
Clock stops after he stepped out of bounds. 14-7 AL. Chase Ritchie was late getting on the field for AL, and John Wolf going to have to take a timeout. He did not have the right personnel out there on defense to face this first down and 10. So we'll follow suit. 6:57 to go in the first half. Gail Wickersham Stadium in Council Bluffs. AL 14, TJ 7. It's game time on YurView.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
Here's to the do-gooders. They're the early risers. The selfless. The forward thinkers. The brave. There are many ways to describe them. We call them family. CHI Health. Good happens here.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
That is the Thomas Jefferson student section. Interested in an exciting career in media studies? Check out the opportunities in TV, radio, and sports promotions at Iowa Western. Visit iwcc.edu. Iowa Western. The world is waiting. Both the state of Iowa and Nebraska are awaiting tomorrow when the brackets for the playoffs will be announced. Fortunately, both of these teams will not be in the postseason. But that is taking nothing away from the start of this one. 14-7. AL leading TJ, but the Jackets are driving. 6:57 to go in the first half. Both of these teams are in Class 4A. That's the largest class in the state of Iowa.
You're an Iowa guy, Gary. You think somebody breaks the streak for Dowling this year?
Could be West Des Moines Valley. Here's Baker. Will he break a streak tonight? And he's pulled down by a face mask. He's going to have 10, and then they're going to add on to it. Greg Easterling, the referee, from about 15 yards away, threw his flag where Baker went down. And if football doesn't work out for Cameron Baker right there, he told us that he could be an official as he readjusted his face mask.
He runs the ball, he catches passes, makes tackles, and calls the penalties also.
15-yard penalty. That's a big face mask. Now the Yellow Jackets will move into the red zone. So here's Baker again, just a patient run, not blazing breakaway speed. He went, just got caught in the face mask. Damari Brown, but Brown just lumbers, and he's hard to bring down. And the next thing you look up, and he's into triple figures in rushing yards. But Valley is the favorite. They are #1 in Class 4A. Cedar Falls, Ankeny Centennial, Bettendorf, and then West Des Moines Dowling, which them celebrating in Cedar Falls at the Unidome in late November as a state champion has become a familiar theme. Lukavsky calls his own number, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, and is into the end zone. Oh my. Everybody in AL colors, I think, touched the quarterback. And he touched down in the end zone for a 15-yard touchdown run.
Holy beast mode, Cameron Lukavsky. This is unbelievable. How did he not get tackled?
That's a question that they're asking on the headsets in the AL coaches booth right now. And we are a Herald PAT away from being tied once again. He likes playing in this game. It's Cameron Lukavsky, and Herald ties it at 14. And let's count the number of tackles that the senior quarterback breaks here.
Little zone read action. There's one. Spins out of it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players had a shot to tackle Cameron Lukowski.
John, I'm going to tell you that there's 11 guys on defense on the field. That's more than a majority.
Yeah. I would say that that's a consensus. We have a quorum.
14-14. But here in the state of Iowa, in Nebraska, you heard us talking for the previous 8 weeks, the state championship game is at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, just the state championship game. But in Iowa, all the classes from 8-man to A to 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, all the semifinals and finals are inside. So weather cannot be a factor at the Unidome in Cedar Falls, which is the home of the University of Northern Iowa. The Panthers' fine football program. And that's where Dowling in 4A has done the work. Fair catch called it. AL now in a 14-14 game. They will go back to work with, again, great field position. Iowa Western has the career choices that fit your busy schedule. Come to campus, study online, or enroll in evening classes now. Visit iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. Again, Scott Strohmeyer, the head football coach of the Reavers, will join us at halftime. They are 6-1, ranked number 3. They still have hopes to play for a national title. They are off this week. They'll be home next week. Forward to catching up with Stroh once again as AL will start this drive, John, from the 36-yard line. It's actually their worst field position of the night.
Well, every time that AL has scored, TJ has answered right back. Neither team able to separate just yet.
That carry is going absolutely nowhere because the big fella, Danny Mills, at 6 foot 275, makes the hit on Hires and drops him for a loss of 1.
A drive summary for the last TJ offensive possession: 8 plays, 80 yards. When you're getting 10 yards a play, you'll take it every time.
And helped by that 15-yard face mask. Lukowski with a 15-yard touchdown run. Tied at 14. Last year, 33-8. TJ won this game. We've seen this game come down to the final seconds a couple of times. That was the field tonight of it. Game of the regular season. TJ showing blitz. Now Brown under pressure. Chased out of the pocket. Looking downfield. Throws it downfield. Victor hauls it in and he gets a foot down. Another big reception by Ben Victor. And that's a first down as Brown on the move again. Throws it downfield and completes it. He's having a big night passing, his best of the season.
That's a good throw from Brown on the run. He's running the right way to make the throw, and then Victor with a nice catch along the sideline. This is an AL offense, Gary, I don't think that we thought we would see tonight. They have not been this good, this efficient all season long.
And they scored 20 in the first game of the year against Sioux City North, but only scored 22 in the next 6 before going for 30 against the Polar Bears of Omaha or Des Moines North last week. Lorenzen is going to lose yardage. So it'll be second down and long, 5.5 to go in the first half. 14-14. AL 1-7. TJ is 2-6. Last year AL went 1-8. TJ last year went 4-5. Last winning season for TJ, 2016 they went 5-4. Before that it was 2008. But both of these coaches feel very confident in the youth that they have in the program. You're seeing it here tonight. And AL will take a timeout. Their second of the first half. Again, John Wolf, the head coach, he wants to take advantage of everything that they can tonight. No mistakes. Final game of the regular season. You know, look at a very youthful sideline for AL. We mentioned right there John Wolf in your picture with his hands in his pocket. He's only 30 years old. And he might be one of the older guys on his staff.
They're young and they're energetic, and you watch them in pregame warm-ups. Those guys are running the scout team offense. Quarterback and the 2 running back spots, giving the defense a look. They're out there running with the young guys playing Scout O. All of them look like they can still get out there and play themselves.
They do. We saw them running a little scout team offense. They were running the double wing for their #1 defense during warmups. And I'm sure not only is John an alum of AL, but members of his staff are alums. So they are very familiar with this offense under Brant Anderson. You may also hear in the background where this facility is located is right in the flight pattern of Eppley Airfield, which is the airport here in the Omaha Council Bluffs area. And there's going to be a penalty before the snap. It'll be on AL. False start by Cade Nelson, the wide receiver that was at the bottom of your screen. So you saw in the open one of the planes that was arriving. We are on schedule here. We've got the flight schedule all down. So we're thinking that the 7:58 flight from Chicago will be coming over the stadium here shortly. So if you think you're hearing things, nope, we're in the flight pattern. So major airlines and large 747s are above us. On 2nd down and long, on the carry, the first time tonight, Connor Ellis. He'll get 5, and it'll be 3rd down and 10. 3rd down and 15, I beg your pardon. Where we see Lennox Brown, who is perfect on 3rd down conversions tonight, throwing the football, put it up again, where they roll him out of the pocket.
That seems to be the game plan, but I would think with a 3rd and longer situation, you're probably going to keep him back there, give him a straight drop, and let him set up and throw it down the field a little bit. But the player to keep an eye on is Ben Fichter. He's been the favorite receiver tonight. He's lined up in the slot to the top of your screen.
And he's looking deep down the field. He wanted Damari Brown, but threw it into triple coverage. Brown was covered really well by the defensive back, Mac Doffman, and the pass lands incomplete, and it'll be 4th down in a punting situation for AL in a 14-14 game.
Look at the replay here, Gary. The play is to be made. You look at that inside receiver at the top of your screen is Fichter. You're going to watch him clear the linebackers and come wide open on the backside. There's nobody around Fichter. You see him down there in the bottom corner of the screen.
So one of the few recognition mistakes by Brown here in the first half. And this punt takes a TJ bounce. It'll be down at about the 25-yard line. So with 4 minutes to go, as we look beyond the stadium, yes, that 7:58, John, is coming our way.
Like a light at the end of the tunnel.
TJ. Brant Anderson. Yep, there it is. It's just a little bit delayed. Remember the first time we did a game here? I think some people that this is their first visit, they didn't know what was going on. The Flames were going to land right here on the track. Low snap. Kafsky throws it deep, and he makes it on the completion. And a 1st down. Kind of slung it out, and Emilio Rubio caught it. There was nobody around him. And that's a big pickup for 22 yards. Moves the Yellow Jackets out near midfield as we get a look at. Nice scramble by Lukavsky.
The low snap, and you see Fichter trying to undercut the route. He almost got it. It was thrown just high enough for Rubio to make the catch.
TJ has come back down 7-0 and 14-7. We're tied at 14. Clock moving. 3:37 to go in the first half from Gail Wickersham Stadium in Council Bluffs. Here's Cameron Baker. Cameron Baker carrying 1, 2, 3 before Brown was the last to hit him and knocked him down, but not before. Baker gets another 9. Those yards just keep piling up one after another for Cameron Baker.
Well, the stats haven't been as eye-popping for Baker this season as they were last year. Last year it was over 1,800 yards rushing, 20 touchdowns, 9.4 yards per carry. He was just over 1,000 coming into this game here tonight, but he's been keyed on heavily by every team they've faced this season.
He is not committed to a school. Grew up a Nebraska fan. Actually grew up in Ralston, suburb of Omaha. The ball is on the field. And it is recovered by AL, I believe. Well, you get a look there. Now they're going to give it to TJ. They're stopping. They're getting a look tonight at this game. I think the pilot kind of slowed up his entry to Epley Airfield. Said, whoa, 14-14.
He's a TJ grad.
He could see from above that TJ caught a break there. That ball almost turned over. Been our first turnover of the night. But now it is 3rd down and 5. Again, this offense doesn't throw it very much. They usually put it in the hands of 25. Here they do. And Baker has a first down. You just can't stop him in the hole.
Yeah, if he gets,
I mean, he's bigger than some of the offensive or some of the defensive linemen for AL.
Once he gets up a little head of steam, he's so strong in the lower body. It's just really hard to bring him down with one player.
It's John Schreiner. I'm Gary Sharp. We'll hit the 2-minute mark to go here in the first half. TJ driving.
You mentioned that he started as a freshman. Well, Brant Anderson said he was coming up and working out in the weight room with the varsity as an 8th grader and probably could have played varsity football when he was 13 years old.
A little dipsy-do, an inside handoff to Rubio from Baker after he got it from the quarterback. There was a flag down as Rubio is down for no gain, and we'll see what the call is here. Some misdirection, some inside handoff to throw off AL, but they were ready for it. Greg Easterling, our referee, discussing with his crew what the call will be. Here in Iowa, the officials have communication through headsets. They can hear everything that the referee is saying. He's going to tell us what the call is. It is holding on TJ. AL will accept the penalty and push the Yellow Jackets back to their own 49-yard line with 1:43 to go in the first half.
And as I've said many times on this broadcast, for a run-heavy offense, the holding penalty is an absolute drive killer. That 1st and 20 is a long, long way.
Brant Anderson, in his 4th year as the head coach at TJ, he's a Coleridge, Nebraska native. Played his college football at Midland Lutheran in Fremont. And was a fullback.
Some confusion on what down it actually is. They had it at first, changed it to second, and now we're back to first down.
Well, TJ here put it up. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. They will put it up. And Baker cannot haul in the pass that was behind him. Does stop the clock. 1:24 to go, and it'll be 2nd down and 20.
Yeah, you might think it's weird to see Baker lined up out wide, but when he was a freshman, first 4 games of the season, he started at wide receiver for TJ, and they realized that he was the guy they had to get the ball to, so they moved him back to tailback and kind of switched to that double wing look.
Rubio and Baker ran into each other, and then Baker had to weave his way through traffic for a pickup of 8. Clock running. Well, near the minute mark to go in the first half. Baker, with all the injuries that he suffered in football and persevered, he has been to the state wrestling championships. He's been to the state track and field championships, throwing the discus. He will not get to the playoffs. Boy, he will etch his name in Council Bluffs lore. On the option, Lukowski keeps it. He's scrambling. He scored a touchdown this way last time. He's got a first down and more as he finally goes down after a pickup of 21 yards.
How about that? You run the option on 3rd and 12 and get 21. There's just nobody out there. Lukowski could have pitched it or kept it. He decides on the keeper. Good decision. Finally brought down after a 21-yard gain. What a conversion by this offense.
As offensive lineman downfield, we're looking for somebody to block, and now TJ with some hope here at the 22 with 41.9 seconds to go. They take their first timeout of the first half. Quick update for all of our baseball fans out there who are spending time with us tonight on Game Time. In Game 6 of the NLCS, Milwaukee has taken a 2-1 lead over the LA Dodgers in the bottom of the first inning. good baseball history in this town. John Lieber, who pitched a long time in the majors, is a TJ grad. Brian Polberg, who is a TJ grad, also is the Omaha Storm Chasers manager. That is the AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. So Poley, who usually is at this game, his kids have gone to TJ. Him and Chris Hatcher, who played a long time in the majors, are all TJ grads. They in Iowa, unlike Nebraska where they play spring high school baseball, in Iowa they play summer high school baseball, where you start on Memorial Day and the state championships in Des Moines are at the end of July.
You're a wealth of knowledge, Gary Sharp.
They do not have a large Legion program during the summer, as that makes sense, playing summer high school baseball like in Nebraska, where you play spring baseball, which along with soccer we bring to you in the springtime, when you go from the middle of March to the middle of May. Lukavsky will put it up. He's got plenty of time. Rolls out of the pocket. Now reverses field. Still looking downfield. Everybody's covered. Now he'll just heave it towards the end zone for Green. And it's intercepted. Off of the hands of Owens. And right into the waiting arms of Lucas Spanier.
Oh, what an unfortunate play for this offense. It looks like they're driving down for a go-ahead touchdown. Lukavsky's got a man. Owens has it in his mitts and just lets it slip through, and Sponger right there to collect it.
First turnover of the night. Just a scramble. A great job downfield by the AL defensive backs. They would not let any of the wide receivers get free. So we'll see what Brown does. No timeouts remaining. 29.9 seconds. They sit on it. Hand it off to Hires. They'll get maybe a yard or two. I have to admit, John, this is a little bit of a surprise. 14-14 at the break. I say that, and then I'm quickly reminded that we do this game every year, the City Showdown, and throw out the records when these two teams meet. That is absolutely true. That is no hyperbole, cliche, radio or TV guys just making things up.
It's actually true. It really is. The rivalry is so intense in this matchup that, as we said, weird things happen.
Halftime, 14-14. Time to remind you, coming up at halftime, Scott Strohmeyer, the head coach of Iowa Western. The Reavers in action this season. You can follow football, volleyball at GoReavers.com. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. We got stats, we got analysis, we got highlights. We're tied at the break, 14-14, the City Showdown. ALTJ, it's game time on YurView.
The GigaBlast halftime show, powered by Cox, is presented by Iowa Western. The world is waiting. And by Cox Business Security. Join us all fall long for some of the top high school football from around the country on Game Time. For in-depth interviews, behind-the-scenes coverage, recruiting updates, and more, be sure to visit YurView.com, your home for high school football.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
It starts with a hardwood fire, creating embers that produce just the right amount of heat. Delicious food prepared fresh from scratch. From an open kitchen, entrees that satisfy every palate. Wood-fired to perfection. Experience flavors like no other. Timber Wood Fire Bistro, Countryside Village.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
Back with you here at Gail Wickersham Stadium. Halftime tied at 14 between Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson in the battle for Council Bluffs. For your first half highlights, take a look at how we got to that 14-14 score. TJ tried an onside kick to open the game. It went awry and gave AL some good field position. The youngster, Lennox Brown, went to work with that offense, and Dayton Hires finished it off with a 10-yard touchdown run, and the Lynx were up 7-0. TJ come back and answer. Heavy doses of Cam Baker, but it was the other Cameron Lukavsky. 58 yards for the score, and we were tied at 7. After a 3-and-out, Hale would get the ball back. And it was Brown once again going to work, finding Ben Fichter for the touchdown. AL with the 14-7 advantage. And as they did on the previous score, TJ answers back again. And it's Cameron Lukavsky once again. Breaking tackle, 7. Count them, all the way into the end zone for his second rushing touchdown of the game. And then a big conversion on 3rd down. As the first half was closing out, TJ looks to be going in to score. It was 3rd and 12. Lukavsky gets 21. But this happened off the hands of Coron Owens. Hale there to intercept. Spanger picks it off. And that would end the first half and keep us tied at 14. Abraham Lincoln Marching Band out on the field for the entertainment of a good crowd on hand. One of the bigger crowds we've seen all season in our high school coverage. Let's take a listen to the home marching band, the pride of Abraham Lincoln High School.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
Cities fall, heroes rise. A heartbeat skips as a man slips gravity's grip, and heartbreak leaps from the brink in a blink. Just think of all the games, teams, hopes, and dreams that live and die because greatness lies in the blink of an eye. This is the sports app on Contour from Cox. Cable TV reimagined to get you right to the good stuff.
Tonight's Game Time Player of the Game is brought to you by Iowa Western. The world is waiting. Check out the stories behind the games all season long. Visit YurView.com.
Halftime at Gail Wickersham Stadium. We're tied at 14 in the city showdown between AL and TJ. And here at halftime, we're over in Council Bluffs. Let's talk some football with the head coach of the number 3 ranked junior college Iowa Western Reavers, now 6-1. You got a weekend off, so what do you do on your off weekend?
I come and scout some high school football games, and I might just watch a little bit of football for once as a fan, and I can critique now all the coaches' decisions.
Scott Strohmeyer, the head coach of the Reavers, joining us. 6-1, you do get the week off. You're still in the hunt to get into the national championship game. Kind of sum up how the last couple of weeks have gone for you since we last talked to you.
Well, we had we're 2-0 and beat Dodge City at home, and then we had Independence, this last week here, and I thought our kids are really, ever since we lost in week 4, our kids have really stepped up and accepted the challenge that, hey, we're on a 1-week season here from here on out.
Your defense has been good all year. It's one of the best defenses in the junior college ranks. But how important was it that your offense has finally gotten to gear to complement them?
Well, I'll tell you what, our defense has played a lot of plays in those first few games until our offense kind of got going, and they're still playing extremely well, but we can maybe take a little bit of stress off them offensively if we can continue to play we're playing.
You have to tell the story, and for people that know Stroh and his program, there are a lot of great stories of young men that have entered your program and have gotten the opportunity to move on to a different level of football. And then there's some stories of how they ended up at Iowa Western and how you were able to help them grow on and off the field. Tell us and our listeners the story of Michael Zachary, who had a big game last weekend.
I'll tell you what, Michael Zachary, special player. He was like one of my number 1 recruits coming out of high school. I went and visited him numerous times, watched him wrestle, and he ended up staying at home and wrestling and playing football at Grandview. And the next year he calls me and he's like, Coach, I think I want to come to Iowa Western. And he comes, and he wasn't able to play last year and ended up wrestling, losing in the national championship after like 7 matches. And you know he's going to be special, but he's so explosive and a great kid. He's competitive, and people always question him in his size, and what he can do on the field is amazing.
As we take a look at some of the highlights so far this year for the Reavers, who are 6-1, ranked number 3, off this weekend, back home next week. Let's talk a little bit about your defense. We mentioned Malcolm Lee last week on the broadcast from Bellevue West. He has an opportunity to move on to another level. You have Chester Graves on the other side. Why is this defense so good?
Well, I mean, I got to credit my defensive staff, in what they're doing. They prepare them so well that these kids know what's coming sometimes before it comes, and then you put a little bit of talent on the field, and it makes it to be deadly. But again, our kids are playing hard. They buy into the system. They trust what coaches are telling them to do.
6-1, ranked number 3. You have a wall that has all of the players that have gone on to college to play. You also have guys that are in the NFL. You have current guys, including Chester Graves, Malcolm Lee, some others that are being highly recruited. What is your role when it comes to that with these players to help them make a decision?
Everyone's a little bit different. Some guys want us to be really involved. Some guys kind of want to make the decision. We're really there to assist in any way. I think kids can get confused in the recruiting process. So we really want to be there, listen to them, give them our thoughts. I learned a long time ago, you never want to push a kid one way because you want him to make that decision, but we're really there just to kind of assist them and point things out that they maybe don't always look at.
Here in our final seconds with Scott Strohmeyer, the head football coach at Iowa Western. After the weekend off, then it's for the rest of the way and a chance to get into that championship game, number 3 in the state. What are you looking for in your final few games?
Well, I mean, we have played our best football. We're kind of gradually getting to it each week, and if we can continue to improve in the next 3 games, you know, that's pretty special. I mean, we got a good chance, but you know, like I told our team, once we lost, we're in a 1-game season. We got to take care of ourselves and you know, let the chips fall wherever they may.
Stroh, we appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's the head coach of Iowa Western. The Reavers are number 3 off this weekend. Back home next weekend. That's Scott Strohmeyer. I'm Gary Sharp. Back with more halftime activities. 14-14, TJ and AL. It's game time on YurView.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
Hi, I'm Van Deeb. I've been in the real estate business for over 35 years, helping buyers and sellers all over Omaha. Now I have a new, exciting, innovative program that will help you sell your house fast and get cash in your pocket in just 7 days with no fees, no inspections, and no repairs. If I don't buy it, I'll sell it for you. It's that simple. Just check it out at DeebBuysHousesFast.com. That's DeebBuysHousesFast.com.
It starts with a hardwood fire, creating embers that produce just the right amount of heat. Delicious food prepared fresh from scratch. From an open kitchen, entrees that satisfy every palate. Wood-fired to perfection. Experience flavors like no other. Timber Wood Fire Bistro, Countryside Village.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
Still halftime here at Wickersham Stadium, tied at 14 between Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson in the battle for Council Bluffs. Now, we're going to jump back across the river a little bit and take a look at the district rankings, the playoff scenarios for Nebraska's biggest class, Class A football. And take a look first at how we get teams into the playoffs. We're going to look at the point system. There you have it. Teams get ranked into a division by their record. It's cut into quarters, and the top quarter of teams, you beat them, it's worth 50 points. And then you take all of your points together, average them out, and that gives you a score. And the top 16 teams end up in the playoffs. The 6 district winners and the next 10 with those points. There you see that. Top 2 teams from districts, the wild card teams, 16 teams get into the playoffs. Here is what the World Herald has to say about it. Top 10 rankings. Burke, number 1. And a big shakeup after some results last week. W West, of course, falling to Omaha North right here on Game Time. Drops the T-Birds all the way down to 6th. The Lynx come in at number 2. Omaha West Side, who is number 3, but probably will not be number 3 next week as they dropped the game to number 4, Millard South, last night. Of course, Omaha North with the big win last night as well. Bellevue West, Millard West, who is up big at half tonight over Lincoln North Star. And rounding out the top 10, the three Lincoln teams, Southeast, Southwest, and Lincoln East. We get into some of those district rankings right now. District 1, Omaha North in the driver's seat. They will win that district going undefeated through District 1. Lincoln Southeast still in play for a playoff berth, as is Papillion La Vista South. District 2, Bellevue West, they are firmly in. Highest the 10th, maybe on the outside looking in. We'll have to see how things shake out for the Thunderbolts. Norfolk, Omaha Central, and Omaha South will not make the playoffs this season. Move on now to District 3. Lincoln Southwest in control, but Lincoln High, as you saw, the number 2 team in the top 10, they will also be in the field. And Lynx are a dangerous team. They're an offense that nobody wants to see in the next couple of weeks come playoff time. District 4, Millard West, Grand Island, Lincoln East, all probably going to get in. Lincoln North Star and Omaha Bryan will be on the outside looking in. Millard West has a team that's intriguing as well. Grand Island, who was up near the top of the rankings early on in the season, dropped a couple of games, does have a win over Millard West on the season. Westside, as we told you just last night, dropped the game to Millard South, so Millard South is going to win District 5. Prep and Elkhorn South playing one another tonight. At last check, Prep was up 14-7 at the half. Northwest and Columbus not going to make it this season, but could be 4 teams out of District 5 in the playoffs. And then Omaha Burke, the number 1 team, probably the only team that's going to make it out of District 6. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with some first half statistics and the kickoff coming up.
Here's to the do-gooders. They're the early risers, the selfless, the forward thinkers, the brave. There are many ways to describe them. We call them family. CHI Health. Good happens here.
Now at H&H, Factory Direct Clearance Pre-Owned. As a new car dealer, we get access to Factory Direct used vehicles before the public. And we just got a shipment at all 3 locations. Visit hhautomotive.com and click Factory Direct to see them all. Deals like this 2017 Camry, only $16,000. We're passing the savings on to you at all 3 H&H locations. Or shop online, hhautomotive.com.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Tonight's Game Time Play of the Game is brought to you by Cox Business Security. Check out the stories behind the games all season long. Visit YurView.com.
$14-14. As we get set for the start of the second half at Gail Wickersham Stadium. Entertaining first half. AL 1-7, TJ 2-6. The City Showdown's got 24 minutes of regulation football to go. Take a look at the stats from the first half. On a Cameron Baker on the TJ side, and Lennox Brown, sophomore quarterback, been pretty elusive, especially on third down. Only one turnover, and that was at the end of the first half as TJ was driving. 176 yards rushing. Good balance by AL. We'll see how the second half plays out. TJ will get the football to begin. Let's take a look back at some of those keys that we mentioned before the game and how they panned out through the first 24 minutes, John.
Well, for Abraham Lincoln, we'll start with TJ. And the keys for them, I thought, misdirection. Keep that defense honest. I think they did a good job of that, running the ball with Lukavsky. Be patient. AL turns the ball over a lot. They turned it over 7 times against Ames. They haven't turned it over yet, but be patient because they have turned it over in just about every game this season. And send Q deep. Well, that didn't work out. Ball deflected off his hands for the only turnover of the game for the Yellow Jackets. But Veron Owens is averaging over 30 yards a catch, so there's a big play out there for him somewhere. They just have to find it. On the other side, for Abraham Lincoln, ground grind. They did a really nice job on that first possession of establishing a run, which has opened up some things in the passing game. So good job there. No big ones. And they gave Lukavsky a 58-yard touchdown run, but it hasn't hurt him just yet. And anyone but Baker. Don't let Cameron Baker beat you. Well, it's the other Cameron who's been doing most of the damage. So they've done it, but they got to shut down the other guy also.
So here we go to begin the second half. Gail Wickersham Stadium. Track surrounding the field. It's a fabulous facility. And this will go out of bounds. Lukavsky let it roll out at the 1-yard line. It's a good field position to start for TJ. Final night of the regular season. There are 2 other high schools in the Council Bluffs area. Lewis Central, which is in Class 3A. Again, both of these teams are in Class 4A, the largest class in the state of Iowa. Lewis Central is number 2 in that class. They are 8-0. Max Duggan, their quarterback, is headed to TCU. And then Council Bluffs St. Albert has been a stalwart of Western Iowa high school football. And they will make the postseason as well. These 2 teams playing in one of the toughest districts in the state. Doesn't matter tonight. All that matters is a victory. As we begin the second half, tied at 14 on the City Showdown. Last year, the first time in 11 years that TJ had won. And Baker is brought down by 3 Lynx right at the line of scrimmage.
At the half, Baker had 76 yards, which is just about halfway to that magic number of 168 that he needed to hit 5,000 rushing yards for his career.
He could hit 5,000 rushing yards, 50 rushing touchdowns on the final night of his career. He was 14 years old when he first put on the TJ uniform. So this is the 4th time he's gone through this matchup. Did not pick up any yards on that first carry. Lukavsky keeps it. And able to keep the legs churning. He's going to get about 4 yards. He's already scored on a 15-yard touchdown run where he was pretty elusive and broke 7 tackles. There, he made the first guy miss, but not the second or the third, and now it'll be 3rd down and long.
No, we've seen what happens when TJ puts the ball in the air. They don't do it often, so they're not, that well drilled in the passing game. So 3rd and long situations, not their bread and butter.
2 wide receivers at the top of your screen, and there's a flag right before the snap. And that'll push TJ back 5 yards.
That makes it a little harder now at 3rd and 11, but we've seen him pick it up, Gary, because what they do have is a quarterback who can run the ball in Cameron Baker, and they were lining up to run that option when the play was preempted by the false start. They're going to get back in the double wing now. Let's see what happens here.
It was great to talk to Scott Strohmeyer at halftime from Iowa Western. He is here recruiting tonight. Lukowski looking deep down the field for Rubio, and it's deflected away at the last moment. Spanier was back there on the defense. Pass breakup, and TJ goes 3 and out to begin the second half.
Well, I thought Rubio had an opportunity to make a play on this ball. Spanier didn't get a hand on it, but he did get his hand in the field of vision of Rubio, which was good enough to throw off the concentration. And it's going to force a punt from TJ.
Sean Lorenzen, who's played quarterback for AL, is one of the 2 deep men. Lukowski will punt it away. Good boot off the right foot. And it will roll. Vector let it go, and it will be downed at the 16-yard line. The TJ sideline thought that it might have been touched. Some intensity there. One of mentioned some as AL gets ready to come out here to begin the second half. One of our astute viewers, Jen, I misspoke in the first half. We were talking about all the great baseball talent that is in this city. John Lieber, who had a nice major league career, actually a graduate of AL. The field is named after him. So you have John Lieber, Chris Hatcher, and Brian Polberg. Mark Reardon, who is the longtime head baseball coach at Iowa Western, championship baseball coach. Also has ties to AL with his
And thanks
kids.
for watching, Jen.
Yes. This is Lorenzen bouncing around, changes direction, now cuts to the outside, and he lost his balance. Almost a face mask as Lorenzen tried to that one cut as Owens came up to make a play on him, almost grabbed a piece of his face mask. And all of that running around for Lorenzen, he gained 2 yards.
Well, there's one mistake that Lorenzen makes. This is a really nice run. He's got to cut inside there. He's got to get upfield and make yardage out of it. He made something out of nothing, but it could have been better if he gets upfield, squares his shoulders, and probably going for another 3 or 4 yards and set up a little easier conversion.
Second down and 7. Brown tosses it to Lorenzen, and well, he keeps the legs a churning. He could have been stopped in the backfield, but was able to move ahead for at least a couple of yards. Hasty led the charge for the Yellow Jackets, and it'll be 3rd down and long. And going back to the first half, Lennox Brown, the sophomore quarterback for AL, was really successful on 3rd down. He had a couple of big pickups. AL has never trailed in this game. They scored after TJ tried an onside kick to begin the city showdown. AL drove 49 yards. Hires put it in the end zone. And TJ came back to tie it at 7. Then 14-7. We're tied at 14. Brown on 3rd down, throws it again, and he connects with Brown, who made a nice catch, got a foot down right at the 30-yard line and moved the sticks. Lennox Brown, the sophomore quarterback, to Damari Brown.
And I love the route combination right here. You put 3 receivers on the same side. The inside guy runs a little out route, and that comes underneath the post from the receiver to his left. Just a little natural pick action, and the receiver's wide open.
We stood behind Lennox Brown on the field in warm-ups, and he was slinging it all over the place. Only a sophomore, and you can see he's got a big frame. He's going to grow into it. John Wolf pretty excited with a couple of off seasons in the weight room what Lennox Brown can do. He's got a great command of the offense. As John mentioned, he played in this game last year. A little inside handoff to Hires, and Cameron Baker will bring him down after a pickup of 3.
Let's see if they can get Hires going again. He had a lot of success running the ball on that first series to open the game, scored the touchdown, but wasn't able to find much room after that in that first half. And there you see him coming off the field, a little dinged up.
A lot of players on both sides play both ways. And we're to week number 9. Been at it since the first part of August. Brown turns, fires it out of the backfield. And only back to the line of scrimmage as Connor Ellis danced out of the backfield, caught the pass, but the coverage was there for TJ, and now it is the Lennox Brown 3rd down.
He's been dealing on 3rd down tonight. Just a lot of poise back there for Just a guy in his second year of varsity football.
One thing AL worked a lot on this week is holding on to the football. We've had one turnover, and that was an interception thrown by TJ late in the first half. They show pressure. Brown throws it up for grabs down the field. It is caught by Lorenzen. He outmaneuvered the defensive back, and he caught the ball across midfield. First down, and Lennox Brown is Mr. Third Down guy again.
Wow, this is a heck of a catch by Lorenzen. You're going to see him. He's going to create a little separation. Look right there. Just a ever touching the back by Lorenzen. And I'm sure Seneca Calhoun's going to complain about that one when they watch the game back.
Seneca Calhoun blitzed Brown earlier in the game and almost had him sacked, but Brown threw a touchdown pass there. Calhoun thought he had blanket coverage. What happens? Another third down completion. Brown to throw it on first down. Now he's chased out of the pocket, looking downfield, and he'll run. He's got some space in front of him. Baker pursuing him as Brown wisely steps out of bounds, and wisely didn't just throw it up for grabs, John.
I think we're seeing something from this young quarterback for Abraham Lincoln. I got to tell you, Gary, you look at his season numbers and you're like, ugh, it's been a real adventure for the quarterbacks at Abraham Lincoln. But in watching Lennox Brown tonight, he's savvy. He's got some moves, and I think they have something with this young guy.
Picked up 5. Has 3 wide receivers in the pattern. Instead, hands it off to Hires, and Hires is going nowhere. Baker in there for the charge. Part is Connor Ellis on the carry. Jason Salazar right there in your picture. At 5'8", 190 pounds on the defensive line. Assisted in that tackle. Now this third down again. If you like drives that are put together with a lot of third down conversions, this is the game for you. We've not had a lot of quick strike scores. And Brown breaks away from the sack and throws it out of bounds. Brady Carroll, and there is a flag down. There was nobody downfield. Brown's trying to point somebody out, but Brady Carroll thought he had Lennox Brown down, and Brown escaped him, and then Brown just threw it away. And Greg Easterling's going to tell us what we already believe. Intentional grounding on Brown, who did not get out of the box.
Well, that's not that sideline official's call to make.
Fourth down now for AL. Let's get a look at this play. We'll let you officiate at home or with John Schreiner.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's clearly throwing it out of bounds. The ball's 15 yards beyond the sideline. But my question is, Gary, on an intentional grounding play, does it not, the ball not come back to this spot of the foul? Okay, they are moving it back now. Initially, they did not move the ball back and just signaled fourth down from the previous spot, which is not correct. And our officiating crew got together, talked it over, and they have moved it back now all the way inside the 25-yard line.
And this is going to be some of the best field position that TJ has had all game. Nearly halfway through the third quarter, tied at 14. The city showdown for these seniors, their final Friday night under the lights. Lukowski, who does a little bit of everything, including driving the bus. There's a flag down. He is not down, and he is on the run. Down the sideline. Can he get there? He does, but there is a flag down, and more than likely it's coming back. It is in the vicinity of where a block in the back may have occurred.
And that's going to erase a huge play for TJ. They could have had their first lead of the night.
So everybody is walking back.
Hey, what is it about the Game Time crew showing up and Cameron Lukowski going bananas?
He said, I hear you guys are talking to the player of the game this year. It's going to be me. Greg Easterling, who is familiar with this rivalry, he's worked this a couple of times. 14-14. 5:57 to go in the third quarter. TJ will take over. Can they take the lead for the first time tonight? We'll find out when you return. It's game time on YurView, as you see the penalty right there that will cost the Yellow Jackets a touchdown. Here's Cameron Baker. There's Cameron Baker. Rumbling and tumbling inside of the 40. We knew that he was going to carry the football. We didn't want you to miss it. And that carry down to the 36-yard line. Again, he's in pursuit of 5,000 in his career, and this run will help.
It's just a good, tough run. Gets up inside, breaks a tackle on his way into the secondary. Drags a couple of defenders well down into Lynx territory now.
Again, there's a really good story on Cameron Baker and his journey through his 4 years of high school at TJ that John did earlier in the week. It's on YurView.com. This is also a 4.0 student. So, well, he's getting a lot of attention of late from North Dakota State and Northern Iowa. Also, Iowa Western is recruiting him. He will be in line for some academic recognition as well, along with his athletic recognition. He is somebody that, regardless of if you root for the Lynx or root for the Yellow Jackets or root for the Titans, you know who Cameron Baker is. And his carry all the way down to the 36-yard line. TJ driving. Can they make it 2 years in a row in this rivalry game? Baker was slowed up in the backfield. Ben Price blew up that play. He's done that a lot this year. And Baker barely got back to the line of scrimmage as the clock continues to roll here in the third quarter.
So one of the things you can read about in the story that I wrote about Cameron Baker this week, we know he loves football. We know he loves academics. He loves wrestling. What's the one thing Cameron Baker doesn't like? Talking to the media.
Well, we're going to have to change that. McCaskey keeps it and slides down maybe a yard short of the first down.
And you just saw that graphic on screen. He's now just 64 yards short of that magical 5,000-yard mark for his career.
And TJ, one of the wins this year, 99-81 against Sioux City North. They had a chance to go for 100. They scored their 99th point with 52 seconds to go in the game. Brant Anderson, their head coach, said this is not a sport where you score 100 points. Big 3rd down and 2 for the Yellow Jackets. And a timeout is called by TJ. John, were they trying to draw AL offside, or was that the intention the whole time, to change the play and then change it in a huddle after a timeout?
Yeah, I think they were trying to draw them offside and get the freebie. Now they'll go back and hit the drawing board and see what they can draw up.
4:07 to go in the third quarter. Knotted at 14 apiece. AL, TJ, City Showdown on Game Time.
Here's to the do-gooders. They're the early risers, the selfless, the forward thinkers, the brave. There are many ways to describe them. We call them family. CHI Health. Good happens here.
As you've seen through 9 weeks of the regular season here on Game Time, a lot of players being recruited. You can stay up to date with the YurView High School Football Recruiting Podcast, Over the Middle, which you can find on YurView.com. Our great Jeremy Crabtree sits down this week with ESPN's Tom Van Haren, discusses the impact of the new transfer and redshirt rules, and also Jeremy breaks down the Carl Albert Guthrie game from YurView, Oklahoma, and he makes the call on which 5-star quarterback he wants leading his program. That's at YurView.com. It's the Over the Middle podcast with one of the best in the recruiting business. He's ours, Jeremy Crabtree. 3rd down and 2. John, it's your chance to roll the dice on what play you think will be called here for TJ to continue this drive to try and snap this 14-14 game.
Well, I've already been given the formation. It's the shotgun look that TJ has shown here tonight. I think it's an inside give to Baker following Green up into the hole.
Baker. No, instead it's a direct handoff. And where they mark it, I think it's going to be a yard short. It was the direct handoff, or the direct snap to Green, read perfectly by AL, and they are going to be a yard short, so it'll be 4th down and 1.
There's some of that misdirection I was talking about, and the snap wasn't perfect. Green had to reach out for it, kind of threw off his momentum a little bit, and never really got on track with that play.
So 4th down and 1, and TJ will go for it. Quickly, they're up to the line of scrimmage. They give it to Baker. And Baker has the 1st down. What a luxury to have on 4th down and short when you need a yard or 2. You just give it to big Cameron Baker. And the drive continues. Are you looking for a new career? Explore our programs in business, health, and technology. Get going today on your career path by visiting iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. Baker closing in on 60 yards away from 5,000. He's in motion, and the handoff to him with a lead blocker. Green got a little bit of a man on the outside, and Baker's got it. Turning the corner, and he's inside of the 5-yard line.
Well, that's a great block on the outside by the fullback, Jermaine Green. I'm hearing that might have gotten away with a little bit of a hold on the inside. Not much there, just got in front. He did leave an arm out, but not anything that's usually going to be called there. But a good block on the outside to spring Cam Baker.
I think on the camo meter, we're down to 38 yards away. 1st and goal from the 5. Headed to the end zone. It's a touchdown from 5 yards out on the end around to Calhoun. Seneca Calhoun puts TJ on top for the first time tonight.
How about Seneca Calhoun? Not a guy who carries the ball a ton. Getting in there, scoring the touchdown. First one of the 2nd half. And it's going to put the Jackets on top for the first time tonight with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd.
Harold in to give the Yellow Jackets a touchdown lead. What a drive. A couple of key 3rd down and a 4th down conversion, and a lot of Cameron Baker. And the Yellow Jackets have a touchdown. No, missed extra point. So it is just a 6-point lead, just a touchdown lead. As we're going to look at the handoff to Calhoun. Green got a little bit of a seal block, and then Calhoun outraced Brown into the end zone to make it 20-14. Missed extra point with exactly 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. And here comes for the first time tonight, AL will have to respond. Quick update from the NLCS. Milwaukee leads the Dodgers 5-1 after 3. Brant Anderson now working for the first time tonight with a lead, encouraging his team. Took a key timeout. They didn't get it on 3rd down, but then they went to Baker on 4th down, got the conversion. Then he got another big run, and then the Calhoun 5-yard touchdown run. Interesting and exciting career in media studies. Check out the opportunities in TV, radio, and sports promotions at Iowa Western. Visit iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. We have seen TJ begin the game, John, with an onside kick. Everything else has been a short kickoff. What will they do here with Ty Harold, who just missed that extra point? 20-14.
Probably just another little squibber.
Line drive mishandled at midfield, recovered by TJ. Harold hit a low line drive that the freshman Eli Lusao could not handle, and recovered by TJ, and they get the ball at the AL 49.
And that's intentional. He's just trying to catch the up man for AL unawares and did a great job. And how about Karan Owens? Makes the big mistake at the end of the first half, tipping the ball up in the air and allowing the interception. Just made up for it right there, gave his team an extra possession.
Oh, you can feel the game start to shift here. First lead for TJ, 20-14. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Baker in motion. Instead, the handoff to Green. And Green bowls his way for 5. Now with this offense that TJ runs, a double wing, they're going to start to lean on you. And AL's defense need to come up with a big play. Can they force a turnover? They forced one. Cameron Baker closing in on 5,000 career rushing yards. He'll add to it here. He was stopped, he started, and then held up. Boy, if he doesn't get away from the ankle tackle of Sean Lorenzen, he might be in the end zone, and he comes up a little bit gimpy again on that bad wheel. But he adds to his total, and he's almost to 5,000.
And you just look at the burst that he has. He waits for the seam, and then the defensive player, Lorenzen, just rolls over on that ankle. It didn't look very good at the end of that play.
Baker stays on the field. This is his last game for TJ. He's not leaving. Bukowski, now he's in trouble in the backfield. Scrambling to get out of the way. Turns the corner and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Somehow.
He was in a world of trouble as 4 Lynx were chasing after him.
Actually gained a yard on the play, amazingly enough.
And you see a couple of opportunities for AL to bring him down. Trey Sorensen is making a beat on him. It's a 2nd down and 10.
Official report from Frank Ryan, Cameron Baker, 31 yards shy of 5,000.
He'll add to the total here. Bounces off one Lynx, another Lynx, and carries the freight down to the 14-yard line. That's a pickup of 19 as he pinballed his way into the red zone.
He's just a tough football player. There's nothing else you can say about it. Bounces off his own lineman, runs through an arm tackle, drags 3 defenders for an extra 2 yards. It's fun to watch him play the game.
Spinning, fighting for that extra yard to the 7. And he is almost to 5,000. Again, tonight he has a chance to get to 5,000 career rushing yards and 50 career touchdowns. He'll need 2 touchdowns. It's TJ, which has taken the lead for the first time tonight here in the third quarter. After an onside kick that they recovered at midfield, they've marched all the way down to the 9-yard line with under a minute to go. 7 yards to go for 5,000. there it is. Record-breaking, over 5,000 career rushing yards, and he does it on his 49th career rushing touchdown.
Special. He's a special player. We've still got a quarter of football to go.
And he's still got an opportunity to get to 50 rushing touchdowns.
And now Thomas Jefferson will go for 2 after missing that PAT following the last score.
Rubio on the 2-point conversion. And back-to-back scores by TJ. And they've got a 2-touchdown lead.
Well, now we have a very important possession upcoming for Abraham Lincoln. They're going to get the ball, and they're most likely going to start the fourth quarter with the football. It's going to be 12 minutes on the clock. They need to put 2 scores on the board without allowing any. This possession right here for Abraham Lincoln, granted, it's not going to be the end of the game. A lot can still happen, but it's going to feel really important. That man you see on the screen, 5,002 career rushing yards with 1 quarter left in his high school football career. That's something else.
We have done this game all 4 years that he has played in it. And he has never disappointed. Well, we'll see the touchdown to put him over 5,000. And we'll see one of his better runs earlier in the year. He ran for 357 in that game in which TJ scored 99 points. Now, will TJ kick it deep here, or will they elect to go with their same strategy of short or an onside and actually kick it out of bounds? So let's look at this record-breaking touchdown. Cameron Baker, 9-yard touchdown run, and then the ensuing 2-point conversion put TJ up 2 scores. Greg Easterling, though, first says, hold on, game time, folks. And all of our viewers at home, I got to tell you that this is going to be a penalty on TJ. All right, here's the look. Baker to 5,000. And one of his great runs in his 4-year career.
It's the same thing they've been doing all night. It's the outside handoff. He's just allowed to pick and choose. But here's one from earlier. Look at Cameron Baker on this run. He should be tackled 6, 7, 8 times. His own offense is just standing around thinking he's down. And he's not done yet. He's going to truck 2 more players on his way into the end zone. Just one of the many things that young man is capable of.
Ellis on the toss play, slowed up in the backfield, lost 3 yards. Now AL has to dig deep. Had game control all night long. Now they're down 2 scores as we near the end of the 3rd quarter. The last touchdown, the result of an onside kick that was recovered at midfield by TJ. And we are done with 3. Big night for Cameron Baker. Will it be another big night in the City Showdown for TJ? They're up 2 scores as we go to the 4th. It's game time on YurView.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to take classes I need, spend less time working to pay for them. I want flexibility to transfer my credits. I want to get started now. Find Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
Western has the career choices that fit your busy schedule. Come to campus, study online, or enroll in evening classes now. Visit iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. Big thanks to everyone here in Council Bluffs for their hospitality. All the fine folks at Thomas Jefferson at AL and with the entire Council Bluffs School District. We like coming over here. This is a lot of fun, great facility, and usually top-notch game. Got the opportunity to watch Cameron Baker set a mark tonight, and I think see the emergence of a very good sophomore quarterback for AL and Lennox Brown. What can he do here in the fourth quarter? Down 2 scores. You get a look at the young signal caller who has shown us a lot tonight on the final night of the regular season. Empty backfield. He'll put it up deep down the field, looking for Lorenzen, and going up, and it is intercepted. Calhoun took the ball away from Lorenzen.
And Lennox Brown's going that way all the way. He looks it off smartly. He had looked off the safety, but Calhoun, look at the catch-up speed. The ball is just slightly underthrown. Calhoun in perfect position inside the receiver and comes down with a nice catch for the interception.
So what a redemption night for Seneca Calhoun. He has a touchdown, which is right now the go-ahead touchdown for TJ back in the third quarter. And now the interception. And TJ already up 2 scores. The only 2 touchdowns here in the second half. They'll have the ball on the 31-yard line, and that offensive line is really starting to lean on the Lynx. And they're doing it with Cameron Baker, who's already over 5,000. You can add Frank Ryan to that total. He's going to score his 50th career rushing touchdown. This one from 70.
That AL defense has been like the little Dutch boy with his finger in the dam all night long. And the dam finally broke.
'50 career rushing touchdowns. Over 5,000 career rushing yards. And for the rare times in his 4-year career, he comes out of the game after the score as Ty Harold is on to try and put the Yellow Jackets up 35-14, and he does.
That's one broken tackle and then off to the races. It's another good block on the edge by the wing. And only one player that really even had a shot at Baker. It's such a well-blocked play. He ran through that arm tackle and nobody was going to catch him.
What an athlete. Boy, he just quietly goes about his business. We were watching him on the field before the game. He's one of the regular guys.
Not a rah-rah guy, doesn't say much. Workmanlike.
And it's 35-14, and Grant Anderson, the head coach at TJ, now feeling his 2nd straight victory in this series. And AL a little bit shell-shocked. They played a fantastic first half.
I believe I just saw a smile from Brant Anderson.
Yeah, We've had a chance to work with Coach Anderson for the last 4 years. And he's a football guy. Doesn't give you much, but there was that little glimpse of a smile. And little pooch kickoff, fair catch called for. And AL will have the ball at the 42-yard line. They're going to need to score quickly.
No, we're going to see what Lennox Brown is made of. Threw an interception on his last pass. And AL's going to need him to come out and sling it. So we'll see how short a memory the young man has right here.
We're in the fourth quarter. We're with you next week for the first round of the Nebraska high school football playoffs. The brackets come out tomorrow in Iowa and Nebraska. Brown to put it up. Fetcher makes the catch, turns it up, tries to find some room, and he lost the ball. It is recovered by AL. Boy, Fetcher was just trying to find any green space, sprinting. I think he kind of lost track of where the defender was and almost lost the football. Called his name often in the first half. And that's a pickup out near midfield. So Fetcher right there. Oh, it's coming loose.
It's alert from your center. Ben Price able to jump on it well downfield.
Brown on the play action to put it up, rolling out. Throws across his body, back across the middle, and Fetcher dropped it out at the 43-yard line. That would have been a first down.
But that's a very dangerous throw. Rolling to the left and throwing back to the middle of the field, right where Cameron Baker was waiting, and somehow it found Fichter, but he couldn't find it in his hands.
Tonight is the final night of the regular season on both sides of the river. We'll have the first 2 weeks of the playoffs coming up. The pairings out tomorrow. Stay tuned to YurView.com or our social media sites for which game we'll be at next Friday. The crew can't wait. It's a whole different level of football. Lennox Brown to put it up again under pressure from Calhoun. Eludes him, now on the run, but this time he's not going to get away from Carroll.
Quarterback Lennox Brown is sacked.
It's first sack of the season for Brady Carroll. Coming in from that strong end. And he blows right by Jake Jensen.
So on fourth down, John Wolf will elect to punt the football. A little over 10 minutes to go in the game. All three scores in the second half, courtesy of the Yellow Jackets.
Number 27, Alex Stockdale on the punt.
Alex Stockdale, the punt. Bukowski is the lone deep man for the Yellow Jackets. The punt is away. This will be returnable from the 34-yard line, but good coverage downfield. Lorenzen and also Ayers there. Amari Brown as well. And AL needs a turnover. Down 3 scores with 9:54 to go. Again, it's been a wonderful 9 weeks of football here in 2018. We've seen some fantastic individual performances, some games that haven't been as close as we thought, and then we've had some thrillers like last week. Omaha North upset Bellevue West 52-49, a game in which people that are at high school stadiums last night or tonight are still talking about, and we expect more when the playoffs begin next Friday night. Can TJ have a clock-consuming drive? Handoff to Green. He is surrounded by 5 Lynx defenders.
And I don't know that we're going to see much more of Cameron Baker tonight.
We have seen him go over 5,000 in his career on the ground and 50 career rushing touchdowns. Greg Easterling, our referee, has blown the play dead. We have a timeout on the field. 9:50 to go from Gail Wickersham Stadium in Council Bluffs. TJ 35, AL 14. It's game time on YurView.
Tonight's Game Time Play of the Game is brought to you by Cox Business Security. Check out the stories behind the games all season long. Visit YurView.com.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
Week from tonight, we're back in Nebraska for the first round of the high school playoffs. Brackets come out tomorrow. You'll be the first to know on YurView.com, where you can tell your friends and tune in next Friday night. Omaha Burke going wire to wire in the regular season as the #1 team, but tonight they are without Nebraska verbal commit. Talented linebacker, top player in the state of Nebraska, Nick Hendrich. He is out tonight with a knee injury. It is not a ACL. They have not gotten the results back from the MRI that he injured last week. Could be out for a couple of weeks as Burke is trying to win their first state title. There's a flag down as Green finally is tugged down to the field turf here at Gail Wickersham Stadium. The city of Omaha and surrounding area have dominated Class A since Lincoln Southeast won a title in 2011. Last night, Westside fell from the ranks of the unbeaten, and they were defeated by Millard South 14-13. So the only unbeaten team in Class A through the regular season, penalty is on TJ, is Omaha Burke. We've seen Burke, John, a couple of times, so we know what kind of a roster they have and how much talent and the experience. And when it's time to go, they go, and it seems like they've been getting ready for the playoffs all season long, and that you'll see a different Burke Bulldog team, but so much parity in Class A.
Yeah, it's so hard to predict what's going to happen right now. You have a team like Lincoln High who's so dangerous on offense, and on any given night they could jump up and bite somebody, and they're ranked #2 by the World Herald right now. You've got Bellevue West who's in the same situation, and Millard West with that defense.
Trick play upcoming. Owens pass deep down the field for Rubio. It is caught inside of the 30-yard line.
Hey, deception. We said it from the top. That was one of the keys for TJ. Misdirection. That offense is going to be keying on the run game. So here you go. It's a backwards pass. And Owens launches it up there. High arcing pass. None of the AL defenders could get under it, though.
TJ driving up 3 scores. It was 14-14 at halftime.
Mr. Baker in the backfield.
And he'll block for his quarterback, Kavsky. Again, ran right, cut it back to the middle. And he'll get inside of the 25-yard line. Clock continues to run. TJ moves towards the end zone. We've told you a lot about this facility here tonight. They also have a really good video board in the end zone in which TJ is headed. The camera work is done by students of the respective schools that are the home team. Tonight, the AL students, and you see it there in your picture. Yeah, they're up here learning from our professionals on the Game Time crew. Green is a little jitterbug. Get close to the first down, maybe a yard short. We'll hit the 8-minute mark and below here in the fourth quarter.
And Jermaine Green normally this season has been mostly used as a blocking back. He does get to carry the ball some out of that double wing look, but he's going to be the guy next season. He's a good-looking athlete, and they're going to lean on him heavily in 2019.
Yeah, what would it be like when we come back here next year for the City Showdown and Cameron Baker's not playing?
That's going to be weird.
I think just by habit, I'm going to mention the first carry is by Cameron Baker. And people will go, no, 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 no. That's a different 25. Here's Rubio on the inside pitch. And he is mowed down after a pickup of about 3. He ran right into Sorensen, the big junior defensive end.
You're going to hear something on this replay. Here's the inside handoff. Bang. Pads are popping in the crosstown rivalry.
They will measure for a first down. Very similar to the great shots and sound we got last week and some of the hits that were applied in that North Bellevue West game, which we may see early in the postseason in Nebraska. We could have a rematch of that game last week on Game Time. It was 52-49.
No love lost between those two.
Now the playoff positioning in the state of Iowa, they have 16 teams that make it in Class 4A. It's different from Nebraska. They use an RPI system. John, when we are done tonight, will explain to all of you how the Iowa high school football playoff system works in the RPI.
Yeah, join me on the YurView fifth quarter show for the breakdown of the Iowa playoffs.
Now that's a great idea. How come we don't do that? Lukavsky keeps it after faking the handoff to Baker, and he's got pickup of about 8 after they were good on the first down. He likes playing in this City Showdown. Had the game that we spoke about last year that helped the Yellow Jackets win 33-8.
3 interceptions, over 100 yards rushing last year, and he's had a good one here tonight as well.
And Brant Anderson's going to say goodbye. This is the final game for both of these teams. There will be no postseason. But Brant Anderson's going to say goodbye to some really good seniors. John Wolf told us before the game, the AL coach and Coach Anderson, they like the future. They like the feeder programs, and the youth football is getting better in this city. Green just bowls his way forward enough for a first down, and people will tell you that have lived in Council Bluffs for a long time, that followed football. It's very cyclical of the talent. Lewis Central is on a nice run, but TJ and AL have had their moments, and they feel pretty confident that they're replenishing their numbers in their football program, that they will be right back competing for a berth in the postseason. It is 3rd down and 3. A tick over 6.5 to go in the 4th quarter from Council Bluffs. And actually, they changed it. They moved the ball, so it's 3rd down and 1, and now they're going to actually measure, see if it's first down.
Well, to your point, Gary, when we do this game in 365 days, it's going to be interesting because a lot of the playmakers for TJ are seniors. And a lot of these guys are going away. And it's a pretty young AL team. They've got some younger guys on the roster. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next year as the roster turns over for TJ, and you got some experienced players for Lincoln.
3rd and inches. Baker is in the backfield but hasn't touched it since a 70-yard touchdown run. He will touch it here on the toss. A little option, and he'll be knocked down short of the first down. One thing I've noticed, and maybe it's just an Iowa thing, we don't see it. We saw some video used on the sidelines by Creighton Prep, which is allowed. Here we see both sidelines, kind of like in the NFL. They have an iPad that has got video or still shots. As you see right there, the coaches are looking on their iPad at formations, also keeping track of play calls. We've not seen that this year.
That's some high-tech stuff.
Yeah, we try and zero in on what's going on. They go for it on 4th down and 2. And fumbled into the end zone. The scramble is on, and Owens will fall on top of it for a touchdown. Lukavsky blistered at the 2-yard line, lost the ball, and then Owens won the foot race to pounce on top of the loose pigskin. And it is 41-14 TJ.
And that's another touchdown for the Yellow Jackets.
when things are going right, they're just going right. This is about the most fortunate bounce you're ever likely to see. The ball stripped out, and Karan Owens able to track it down in the end zone. Another touchdown for the Jackets.
It has been all TJ here in the second half. Harold on for the PAT. It is up, and it is good. 42-14. 4 touchdowns scored here in the second half by TJ.
And unanswered by the Abraham Lincoln offense. That's the bigger key. They were scoring and TJ was answering score for score throughout that first half, and I don't know what happened to the Abraham Lincoln offense, but the TJ defense has certainly been very good here in the second half.
Hey, just like those coaches on the AL sideline, you can get on your iPad or your phone and you can check out the biggest games in high school football. Take us along, like this one, streaming live on YurView.com. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Once there at YurView.com, click on the live button, and you'll find the games we are streaming from around the country. If it's high school football, we've got you covered. That's YurView.com. I have to tell you, John and I go home after the game, and we get on YurView.com, and we go from Oklahoma to Arizona to the East Coast to watch some of the best high school football games in the country every Friday night, and they're right there for you on YurView.com.
Some of the top-rated recruits in the country featured on YurView this season. Some of them right here.
We've got viewers tonight are letting us know that they'd like to see Cameron Baker in black and gold in Iowa City for the University of Iowa, which has recruited Cameron Baker, and this kickoff is going to sail out of bounds. 5:24 to go in the fourth quarter. I can't wait. I'm going to hustle home and I'm going to check out John Schreiner on the fifth quarter portion of this broadcast tonight. I don't know who you might have on.
You're coming over to my house?
I think you got to stay here. Welcome viewers in. Have a live studio audience. Take calls.
Right, there we go. Let's do it.
Break down the regular season. What's ahead for the playoffs. Boy,
I heard the camera crew wants to hang out, so let's do it.
Well, remember, that's John. I'm Gary. John was the one speaking, as we're getting a look. Hardworking men and women on our crew.
I heard them in the camera meeting before the game. They said, let's do 2 games.
Well, we have some people on our staff who've got the calculator out trying to figure out the playoff pairings that from the NSAA and the Iowa High School Athletic Association. The pass is incomplete on the first down. Will come out tomorrow morning. Again, YurView.com will be the place, and our social media sites, for you to find out first which game we will do next Friday in Nebraska. The high school football playoffs. The road to Lincoln. Here in Iowa, it is the road to Cedar Falls. 2nd down and 10. Lennox Brown, we will see him again in this showdown, and we will hear from him again. And shut out in the second half, however. He will put it up. Under pressure from Carroll. Breaks away from the defender. Now on the run. Breaks 1 tackle. Gets to the 40. And Green wrestles him down after a pickup of 7.
This is good pocket mechanics from Brown. Steps up through the rush. Puts a little juke on here. Ends up with a nice 7-yard gain. Again, really liking what Lennox Brown has done tonight. He's had his moments. He's made a sophomore mistake here or there, but on the whole, promising game.
Ellis on the end around. He's got a seam down the sidelines, and he runs over a Yellow Jacket at the 40, and then he fumbles the football. Kind of the story of the second half for AL. Ellis lowered the boom, and then he forgot to bring the ball with him, and it's another turnover for AL with 4:20 to go in the game. Look at this collision.
Well, it's a whole bunch of good followed by just one bad. Bang! All over it. And then gets caught from behind. Ball gets punched out and then a big recovery. Cameron Hasty coming all the way down the field to pick it up.
Ellis drilled Garrett Burnside, but the fumble recovered by TJ. A timeout on the field. 42-14. It's been all TJ here in the second half. Coming up, when we are done, we will chat with a member of the TJ victorious team. All of our play of the game, defensive play of the game, some stats, some highlights, and a wrap on 9 weeks of the regular season, and then we get ready for the postseason. The Reavers are back in action this season. You can follow Iowa Western's championship sports teams, including football and volleyball, at GoReavers.com. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. We hope you enjoyed our chat with Scott Strohmeyer, head football coach of the Reavers, number 3 in the country. He was with us at halftime. They are off this week, and then they are back at it against Fort Scott Community College. They play at Lewis Central High School here in Council Bluffs. And we highly recommend checking out the Reavers. Loaded with talent. Talent that'll be playing on Saturdays in bigger stadiums next year. Stroh and his staff do such a great job of developing players on and off the field as they do the junior college football the right way. They're not showing up on Last Chance U on Netflix, even though they did take on Independence Community College last week and beat them here in Council Bluffs. That's the school that's featured right now on the popular Netflix series. But Scott Strohmeyer, he loves the way his program is set up. They've got top-notch facilities, great support, great individuals in the program, and a ton of success as they're trying to make it to the national championship game. The top 2 teams in junior college football make it. Iowa Western is currently number 3 behind Eastern Mississippi and also Garden City.
Starters all out of the game now for TJ. With the backups in, some varsity experience in the crosstown rivalry.
Nathan Corral, senior quarterback, and he hands it up to Connor Stanfill. And Stanfill, the pickup of about 4. Clock rolling under 4 minutes to go. 42-14 in favor of TJ. The Yellow Jackets 28 points here in the second half. And what a way to finish his career. That's a smile. Cameron Baker, over 5,000 career rushing yards, 50 career rushing touchdowns. Those were 2 marks he wanted to hit tonight, and he did in the city showdown. And he's going to win back-to-back games against the rival. There's a flag down. Alana Sink on the snap. And Cameron Baker sat down with John earlier this week. You can read the story on YurView.com. Grew up a Nebraska fan. Now where will he play his next snap of football? Penalty is on TJ. Declined by AL.
Here's another little nugget that didn't make the story about Cameron Baker. He grew up an Eagles fan because his dad's an Eagles fan. So guess who his favorite player is? Brian Westbrook. Said when he first started playing football, he wore 36 because he loved Brian Westbrook.
He's played every sport possible. Up until he hurt his shoulder in 8th grade, he was a pretty good baseball player. Stanfill is tackled. And TJ will have to punt the football away.
Special player. One of the top 10 recruits in the state of Iowa. Got a number of opportunities to play at the next level. It'll be interesting to see what decision he makes.
In this town, they've got 2 of the top 10 in the state, in the Hawkeye State. Max Duggan, who's the quarterback at Lewis Central. They are unbeaten, ranked number 2 in Class 3A. That's the 2nd largest class. He is going to TCU, and he really had his pick of any schools from Nebraska to Penn State. Sat on TCU, and you have Cameron Baker, who is in the top 10.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick on Max Duggan with some of the recruiting experts. How is that only a 3-star quarterback?
It is definitely fun to watch. I think I mentioned that it was coming up on 4th down. That was 4th down. So AL takes over. And this is an opportunity for both teams to get all the seniors in their final Friday Night Lights affair. 42-14. TJ is going to finish the regular season 3-6. AL 1-8. Lorenzen mishandled the snap, loose on the turf, And it is recovered by TJ.
Well, look no further than 3 second-half turnovers, plus a mishandled kick for Abraham Lincoln to learn why the scoreboard reads what it does.
That happy man that you saw in your pictures, a sophomore, Gavin White, came up with the fumble recovery.
In the second half, Abraham Lincoln has gone punt, mishandled kick, interception on the first play, punt, fumble, fumble.
Bragging rights will belong to TJ once again. Stanfield. For a couple of yards.
Conversely, Thomas Jefferson's second half possessions, a punt, 5 straight touchdown drives, and a turnover on downs. One of those is better than the other.
Ball is loose again, but falling on top of it. Blake Bonneau on the high snap. Showing the sidelines. Well, it didn't actually get in the midsection, but didn't turn it over. Down to our final couple of plays of the regular season. Again, next Friday night, we will be at a playoff site near you. You can check YurView.com early in the week, and then share with your friends what game we'll be doing. Only television coverage in the Omaha metro area will be right here on Game Time in the postseason, the first round, next couple of Fridays. All TJ here in the second half. Both teams are kind of look like a hockey bench. Guys are coming off the sidelines, getting in there, playing time. It'll be rough for these seniors. Tomorrow they'll turn in their equipment, or on Monday. Both of these programs are now year-round, from strength and conditioning to camps. So when you start practice in August, and then through 9 weeks of the regular season. We are in the last minute now of the regular season. It is 4th down. And a timeout is taken. Or nope, they're going to take the penalty for delay of game. The play clock ran out. You have a lot of unfamiliar combinations out there, so this is getting a little hectic. And they'll push the Yellow Jackets back 5 yards. And actually 10. Actually, nope. Longer than that. Well, this is a 15-yard penalty. Not sure.
Puzzled.
Yeah. And on 4th and 30, TJ goes for it. And on the turnover on downs, AL will get the ball with 40.6 seconds to go. You said this was a bingo card game. I don't know.
I've never seen a 15-yard delay of game before, Gary.
Never
Never seen it.
Signaled as delay of game and then marked off 15 yards. 42-14. TJ is going to close out the season with a victory, a season that will include a 99-81 win. And for the 2nd straight year, a win over their crosstown rivals. They'd gone 10 years without winning until last year. Now they're doing it back to back.
There's a new streak in Council Bluffs.
Lorenzo keeps it. He's got a seam. Lorenzo cuts it back, headed towards the end zone. He's brought down by Rubio at the 2-yard line. Stop the clock, 31.6 seconds to go. An opportunity for the senior possibly to go out with one final hurrah.
Yeah. As you said, a senior still playing hard out there in his final high school football game.
And touchdown. So AL will get on the board with 24.4 seconds to go. And Lorenzen, as a senior, John Wolf called his number. The extra point upcoming, the first touchdown of the second half for AL. AL led 7-0, 14-7. We were knotted at 14 to the break.
Yeah, just not enough production in the second half. It was a really tough start to the second half. Punted on their first possession, and then TJ scores directly after that. Then it was the mishandled kick, which gave it right back to TJ, and she was all downhill from there.
PAT up and good, 42-21, 24.4 seconds to go in the postgame. Ryan will have the stats for us. Player of the game, which we don't need much debate. It's going to be Cameron Baker. What a night he had, John.
He certainly did, and this is the milestone carry right there, the 9-yard touchdown run that put him over 5,000, and then the game breaker, 70 yards out, and there's nobody in the picture for the last 40.
That was his 50th career rushing touchdown. That is the player of the game, and he is out on the field as part of this kickoff return unit.
Had to get one more play.
The hands team is up. They have 9 players within 20 yards of the ball, anticipating an onside kick. Instead, AL will just punch it into the end zone. So here will be the final play of the regular season. Again, next Friday night, we will bring to you Nebraska high school football playoff action. Check YurView.com early in the week. You'll find out all the information. We'll have the breakdown as we do every week. And then we will deliver to you first round of the playoffs, where anything can happen. Lots of parity in Class A. Nine weeks of the regular season, culminating in Council Bluffs. And this, more than likely, will be the final play of the regular season. What a second half for TJ. And that is the final play. The clock will wind down, and these two teams will shake hands. These two teams, they are very familiar with each other. They grew up around each other. They see each other at work. They see each other at other functions here in Council Bluffs. This is the day that they don't speak to each other, and now they'll shake hands. The city showdown belongs to Thomas Jefferson with a strong second half. They win 42-21 over Abraham Lincoln. Man, right in the middle of your picture, Cameron Baker. Been fun to watch him for 4 years. His high school career is now over. He'll have some records that won't be going anywhere for TJ. Let's take a look at the defensive play of the game in this 42-21 victory.
Well, this was the first play of the fourth quarter. Abraham Lincoln trying to get back into it, going deep, but Seneca Calhoun, he had other ideas. Great position on the inside of the receiver. Lorenzen picks it off. TJ would rattle off 4 touchdowns following that interception.
Seneca Calhoun also had a touchdown run. 42-21, our final in the city showdown. Wrap up the regular season. TJ will finish the regular season at 3-6. AL concludes at 1-8. We're back with the head coach of the Yellow Jackets, Brian Anderson, after this 42-21 TJ over AL on Game Time.
Tonight's Game Time Player of the Game is brought to you by Iowa Western. The world is waiting. Check out the stories behind the games all season long. Visit YurView.com.
Now at H&H, Factory Direct Clearance Pre-Owned. As a new car dealer, we get access to Factory Direct used vehicles before the public. And we just got a shipment at all 3 locations. Visit hhautomotive.com and click Factory Direct to see them all. Deals like this 2017 Camry, only $16,000. We're passing the savings on to you at all 3 H&H locations. Or shop online, hhautomotive.com.
Transform your existing space today with a new remodel from DeLoa & Sons. No matter what your budget is, our in-house design team will bring your vision to life, providing the quality craftsmanship you expect. And you work directly with the owner during all phases of your project, remodeling residential and commercial spaces for over 20 years. DeLoa & Sons. Design, build, remodel. Start your new project today. Call or learn more at DeLoaConstruction.com.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
Okay. The Yellow Jackets are celebrating for the 2nd straight year. They win the City Showdown, TJ 42, AL 21. We're joined by the victorious head coach, Brant Anderson, on the sidelines. 14-14 at halftime. What'd you do in the locker room that led to this big second half for your team on both sides of the ball?
Well, we made a couple adjustments on defense, kind of slow their passing game down a little bit. We knew we were doing a pretty good job of stopping their run. We just had to make an adjustment in coverage, slow them down offensively, get some stops. And then, we went a little more gun on offense than we usually do, but it was working well, so we stuck with it for the game.
Coach Cameron Lukowski had a big first half with the 2 touchdowns. Second half, Cameron Baker goes over 5,000 yards rushing for his career, 50 rushing touchdowns. Can you just reflect on his 4 years at TJ?
Well, he deserved that. He's been our leader statistically and everything else for most of those 4 years, if not all. We really relied on him to do a lot of stuff, on both offense and defense. We're going to miss him a ton next year, but the one thing we've always said the last few years is we want to use him as a model for our younger kids so that after he's gone, we're still feeling his impact. And I think he's done a great job of that for us.
Yeah, he's a great role model for young kids, not only in your program, but in this city. And for people that are not from Council Bluffs, what does this mean to the TJ community to have back-to-back victories over your rival?
Well, I don't remember what the span was there where TJ didn't win it. It seems like it was 10, 12 years, 13, 14, 15 games in a row that AL had won. So now they won back-to-back. That's a pretty big deal for this side of town. Football's important over here on this side of town. It just took a few years to kind of get the trophy back on this side.
Hey, Coach, congratulations, and thank you for making time for us tonight.
Thanks.
That's the head coach of TJ, Brant Anderson, 42-21, TJ over AL. That'll wrap it up from beautiful Gail Wickersham Stadium. Big thanks to everybody with Council Bluffs School District for their hospitality. We are off to the postseason. YurView.com is where you can find out where we'll be next Friday for the first round of the high school football playoffs. For John Schreiner, for our statistician, Frank Ryan, and our entire YurView broadcast team, I'm Gary Sharp saying so long from Council Bluffs, where tonight TJ defeats AL 42-21. To watch this game in its entirety, log on to YurView.com. Good night from Council Bluffs.
Game Time high school football action on YurView has been brought to you by Iowa Western. The world is waiting. And by Cox Business Security. Join us all fall long for some of the top high school football from around the country on Game Time. For in-depth interviews, behind-the-scenes coverage, recruiting updates, and more, be sure to visit YurView.com, your home for a high school